Restaurant and takeout foods are some of the most underestimated dangers for people with high blood pressure, largely because they come wrapped in convenience, flavor, and social appeal. Eating out feels normal, enjoyable, and even harmless, but for someone with hypertension, it can be a stealthy cardiovascular trap. The problem is not always obvious. Restaurant meals are typically loaded with sodium, fats, and refined carbohydrates in amounts far exceeding what most people realize. Unlike home-cooked meals, where you can control salt, oil, and portion sizes, restaurant dishes are engineered for taste, profit, and repeat business, often at the expense of your blood pressure. The sodium content in restaurant foods is staggering. Even a seemingly simple dish like a grilled chicken sandwich, salad with dressing, or pasta entree can easily contain 1,500 to 2,500 milligrams of sodium in a single meal. That is already at or above the recommended daily limit for someone with hypertension, and many people pair these dishes with sides like fries, chips, or bread, which adds hundreds more milligrams of sodium. For hypertensive individuals, this is not just a minor overload. It is a powerful spike that forces the heart to pump harder, stretches arteries, and raises blood pressure immediately. The effect isn't just temporary either. Repeated exposure reinforces elevated blood pressure over time, making it increasingly difficult to maintain control even with medication. Restaurant meals are also heavy in saturated and trans fats. Fried foods, creamy sauces, cheese-laden entrees, and buttery sides contribute to arterial stiffness, LDL cholesterol elevation, and inflammation. When paired with high sodium, these fats multiply cardiovascular risk. Arteries become less flexible, blood pressure remains elevated, and the heart must exert more force to push blood through rigid vessels. Over weeks and months, this strain leads to left ventricular hypertrophy, a condition where the heart muscle thickens and weakens under constant pressure, increasing the risk of heart failure. Another hidden danger is portion size. Restaurants often serve meals that are 2 to 3 times larger than a typical home-cooked serving. People may eat more simply because it is offered in front of them, unaware that every extra bite compounds the sodium, fat, and calorie burden. This portion creep promotes weight gain, especially abdominal fat, which itself increases blood pressure and insulin resistance. Combined with repeated sodium spikes, this creates a perfect storm: high blood pressure, poor vascular flexibility, and escalating cardiovascular risk. Takeout foods are often worse than dine-in meals because they are designed to maintain flavor after transport. This means even more salt, sugar, and preservatives are added, particularly in sauces, marinades, and prepackaged sides. Items such as fried chicken, stir-fries, sandwiches, pizza, and noodle dishes are crafted to taste perfect, even hours later, but the sodium content is quietly astronomical. A single takeout meal can undo an entire day of careful home cooking, rendering other lifestyle measures, exercise, medication, and low-sodium meals less effective. There is also a psychological element that makes restaurant foods particularly hazardous. Eating out is associated with relaxation, indulgence, and reward, which encourages people to consume richer, saltier foods than they would at home. Many people underestimate the sodium and fat because the food tastes so good, and they don't realize that these meals are silently undermining their blood pressure control. The combination of enjoyment and convenience masks the true risk, making these foods easy to overconsume repeatedly without immediate consequences until the long-term damage has accumulated. Over time, frequent restaurant or takeout consumption accelerates hypertension progression. The persistent sodium and fat overload stiffens arteries, promotes chronic inflammation, and weakens the heart's ability to pump effectively. Kidney function is compromised by constant sodium filtration demands, increasing the risk of fluid retention and further blood pressure spikes. Individuals who rely heavily on these meals may find their hypertension becomes resistant to treatment, requiring stronger medications or multiple prescriptions to maintain control. In short, restaurant and takeout foods are not just indulgent, they are systematically engineered to be harmful for anyone with high blood pressure. They deliver hidden sodium, saturated fats, large portions, and refined carbs that cumulatively raise blood pressure, weaken arteries, and overwork the heart. What seems like a harmless night out or a convenient lunch is, for hypertensive individuals, a calculated risk with real, measurable consequences. Avoiding them, or choosing carefully prepared, low-sodium alternatives, is essential to protecting long-term cardiovascular health and maintaining control over blood pressure.